afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Pink Perspectives, powered by the Pink Table Talk. I'm your host, Dana Johnson, and joining me from a suburb in Georgia is my dear friend from childhood, Tammi Holton-Dogan. Thank you for joining me.
Hi.
So just a little bit of a backstory of why I invited Tammi to have a seat at the table with me today and to have the conversation regarding breast cancer awareness is because we've been friends since childhood, and all women, when they reach a stage within their life, and statistically it's 40 years old, that we need to go in and have our self-examinations. And I just thought that because of our friendship and the fact that we have that shared, experience together, that I would invite her to have a conversation with me and to talk about her perspective. So,
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me, Dana. I really appreciate it.
okay, so we will go right into our conversation at this point.
Okay.
So, Tammi, from your personal experience, why do you think that it is important for women to be screened for breast cancer?
So I sort of have two perspectives on why it's so important for women to be pre-screened for breast cancer.
Okay.
My first perspective is from my own personal sort of health scare. So 2 years ago, I went in for my normal mammogram. I've been actively getting my mammograms every single year since I was 40. That's always been advised by the doctors. And 2 years ago, I went a mammogram and they called me back for an ultrasound.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, no worries. They just want to take a closer look at something. So I'm going to go back for my ultrasound. I went back in for my ultrasound. And when I went back in for my ultrasound, they informed me that I needed to undergo a biopsy. And I was very concerned. I was just like, why? So of course I started researching all of this information on the internet. And the internet can be really, really good, but the internet can really scare the heck out of you.
Exactly.
Exactly, if you read too much into it. So I had my biopsy. And what I remember is after my biopsy, I remember I think it was 4 to 5 days before I received my results for that biopsy from it. And I remember sort of, praying and just sort of agonizing over the fact that I did not know what my results were going to be.
Okay.
So my results came back, and fortunately they were benign, so non-cancerous. But from that moment, my physician told me that because of my family history and the high risk of breast cancer that sort of runs in my family and other types of cancer, that I would have to come in every single 6 months to do a dual ultrasound and mammogram concurrently.
Okay.
So for the past 2 years, I go to the doctor faithfully every 6 months. My last mammogram ultrasound was actually a couple weeks ago. I go every November. So basically they came back after they looked at the ultrasound and they're like, see you in 6 months. So that's sort of been my sort of personal medical experience with it.
Okay.
From a family perspective, a little over 20 years ago, my grandmother was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she is the matriarch of our family. Like, she rules our family in a good way. So with that being said, I just remember being very fearful, very nervous, concerned about her diagnosis. And we really heavily leaned on our faith as a family to sort of get through it. And fortunately, she did have to have a couple of surgeries. She also underwent radiation and some additional treatments. But fortunately, they caught it early. So because they were able to catch it so early, even in that time with her being in her mid-60s at the time, they were able to catch it and combat it and get rid of it. So she actually celebrated her 92nd birthday last September. So that is why early detection is so, so very important.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing that story. Okay, so next, with regard to the pandemic, how would you encourage people who are watching to help support the purpose of my platform, the Pink Table Talk LLC, through its educational and research-driven platform?
So I read a ton of, I read the internet, I look at the news, and I see that what's going on frequently is that a lot of people are canceling and or postponing or rescheduling their mammograms. And the reason why is that they're simply afraid. They don't want to go to the doctor unless it's an emergency, and even then they don't want to go because they're just afraid of COVID-19. So just implore people that if you have a mammogram, or even if you don't have one scheduled, to move forward with it. And I'd also ask that, encourage them to call their doctor's office, talk to them about what they're doing in the office to protect people from COVID, social distancing, PPE, everyone's wearing masks, things of that nature. So with that being said, as far as supporting the Pink Table Talk, I think that just getting that message out and sharing that with people, don't postpone it, don't reschedule it, ask questions. If you feel concerned or you're nervous about something, reach out and ask those questions. So I think it's so important to have a platform like this because you're able to share your experiences, able to share your testimony with other people who you might have not even known what was going on in their personal life, or didn't know that they had breast cancer, or they had a scare, or a family member. So I think it's important to share information so that people can grow. And even if you only touch one or two people, you've touched more, you've helped somebody. So I would definitely say share the information, send this video to other people, ask them to share it with their family and friends, start to sort of have that open conversation and that dialogue about what they can do to stay healthy, just encourage that.
Awesome. So you will notice that at the end of our conversation today, I will highlight the organizations that I represent, one being the Wisconsin Breast Cancer Coalition, and the other on the national level, the National Breast Cancer Coalition. And I take part in lobbying on behalf of both those organizations in every April in Madison, Wisconsin, and then again in DC around the springtime, late April, sometimes early May, depending upon when they have it. But for you who may be watching, there are advocates that are in your states that also will join the conversation and that summit that takes place in DC. So a lot of the things that Tammi just mentioned is there are people who are working behind the scenes tirelessly to make certain that our legislatures are doing what we, elect them in office for, to help spread that word and get those bills passed so that we can make certain that at some point in time, hopefully, prayerfully, that we can eradicate breast cancer as a whole. So that's the goal. And the Pink Table Talk will help in aiding that and help in funding by your donations as well. So we've got one last question that I'd like to ask you before we let you continue on with your day. So as a close friend of mine, do you have any final words that you'd like to share to our viewers that are watching? Hopefully they're joining us from across the country.
So I'm not going to cry first.
I'm a crier too.
No, first of all, really want to thank you for asking me to join you. I appreciate it. Secondly, I have known you, for a really long time. I think we were like 12, 13 when I was sort of adopted by the Johnsons.
Yeah.
So with that being said, first of all, I know you come from a very big, loving, awesome family. So I want to thank y'all for that, being that kid ripping and running up and down 19th Street. You guys were just always an amazing second family to me. Not only that, I was blessed to know your mother.
So now I'm crying for real.
Your mother, I don't remember exactly what we talked about, but I always remember how your mother made me feel. Your mother was always so welcoming to me. She always had the biggest smile on her face, and she always gave me the biggest bear hug every time she saw me. So even if I was or was not invited to the family function, she always made me feel like I was welcome, whether I was or not. So I just want to say to you, thank you. I just want to say to you that I know that she is extremely, extremely proud of you. I know that she's looking down on you with the biggest, brightest smile on her face.
Okay, I was not supposed to be crying.
So you know me, I like to express myself. But no, I really appreciate it, and I know that she's extremely proud of you, and I just want to thank you.
Well, I have the same sentiments to you because I felt that love right out the gate with your family as well. And one of my fondest memories, and just in lieu of how powerful social media is, I just recall you posting as kind of like a flashback Friday moment. And it was your 18th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember just like, okay, it was the crew, the clique, like the crowd from Rufus King. Shout out to Rufus King. And I was invited because of by way of our friendship and my cousin Dar. So I just
Yes.
thank you and your mom just for always being there, being supportive of your family, and just us standing the test of time. Because
Yes.
just to say that going from 12 years old and now here we are, mature women living within our own purpose, and still being able to say that here we are today
Yes.
is major.
Yes.
So thank you. And with that being said, I would like to present you with this special gift that'll be being mailed to you.
Yeah.
For the audience, you noticed me wearing the mask in the beginning. It's the Pink Table Talk mask, and this will be
Thank
mailed
you.
to Tammi. And we do have them available if you would like to purchase one. It's found on our website. And the mask is just simply another way to donate so that we can pay it forward to organizations that may be in need and want to be able to help women who are currently going through surgery and may need additional funds for transportation to their mammogram, or for just a gift card or something in that nature, where we don't think about that side of the coin. Just think about them going in for the diagnosis and they find out,
Yes.
but there are so many other factors that play in. And that's pretty much what the Pink Table Talk represents. It's about an educational platform, research, and policy, because those are the things that are near and dear to my heart when it comes to my advocacy. So thank you once again for joining me for the conversation.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of Pink Perspectives, powered by the Pink Table Talk LLC. Bye now.
Bye.
The Pink Table Talk will be offering our fabulously scented, custom labeled Pink Table Talk candle. Each one hand poured by Cheyenne Candles as a symbol of continuous support to the causes and awareness of breast cancer. The candle light, we'd like to say, represents an eternal flame that will burn in memory to the lives lost and in commemoration to those who continue the fight with cancer and our never-ending crusade to bring awareness. Proceeds from purchasing go to the building of the Pink Table Talk advocacy and outreach, as well as our ability to support other programs and agencies in kind. Thank you for joining us.